Hey fam, how's it going? First things first, Josh, why do you still have that ridiculous mustache on your face? Well, I was gonna film Climbing Cop Goes to the Gunks, and I was gonna write out tickets for not wearing helmets and ask for people's belay certifications. But I found out that there's some bigger fish to fry this week. There's a bit of a disturbance in the force. A villain is about chopping bolts and stuff like that. So I just wanted to bring some awareness to it and maybe offer two unique solutions. So I'm going to show you what they are. I'm going to drill a hole in these concrete blocks and then hopefully not crack these concrete blocks. We'll see if I can get away with that. And then we'll talk about you'll see kind of what a bolt looks like when it's inside, when it's inside the inside view of a bolt. And then, like I said, I'll offer you some solutions of what you could do if the bolts got chopped. Let me grab my drill. So this is a rock hammer drill, and you can't use these Yosemite because they're battery powered or whatever. So what I would probably do is, well, not to drill the first hole, but I'll get to that, the second hole. I'd probably use like an old-fashioned hand drill, geared hand drill, and then I'd probably weld like a bike sprocket to it and then have my friend ride really fast, but not with this drill bit, because this drill bit kind of needs like a rock hammer, so it needs to like hammer as it drills, as it goes in. So anyway, let's get drilling here and make two holes, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. So yeah, it was a little bit easier to drill down than sideways. So this came up on How Not to Highline, this channel, which is kind of funny. I think everyone is subscribed to me. Most of everybody's probably subscribed to him as well. I was actually at the rock gym the other day, and then some guy was like, "I know you, I'm subscribed to you." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Didn't you do that slackline thing in Yosemite?" I was like, "No, that's How Not to Highline." He's like, "Oh no, you're the climbing fields guy though, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." That's me. So let's see what we got here. Let's open this puppy up. Alrighty. I think this side's better. Okay, so currently what you have is this. A bolt in the rock. Now, if it's chopped off, right, all you have is the bolt in the rock. My suggestion is, and I don't know, I might be a little naive, and this might be something that he's already talked about, but I don't know. Fortunately, I don't have the time to watch everything he makes. So, my suggestion is you buy, this is a bit I made, but you could buy one that's a diamond core drilling bit. And what you do, and it doesn't need a hammer, it just needs friction. So you could do that thing I said where you have a gear drill bit attached like a bicycle or something and downward pressure. And what you would do is you get one not this wide, but just as wide as this bolt. You chop that, you get this on here, okay? You grind it out. Okay, so now you have a hole that's a little bit bigger. Now my suggestion is you make it the same size of these. These are used in the industrial world, and they're called Miller by Honeywell. They're made by 3M too. There's Honeywell and 3M. I think those are different companies. But these hold 5,000 pounds each. So what you do is you take this here and you insert it into the hole, and then you take it out like that. And then it's just basically a bolt. So now you have a bolt inside the rock. Of course, there's going to be this bend to it. So, I mean, if Ryan wanted to test out the strength of these things, what they're actually like when they're bent over, it would be kind of interesting. But they're supposed to hold 5,000 pounds. Maybe there's something you could put here, like a block of wood or something, so the bend's not so bad. Anyway, that takes further research. So you insert this, and it goes in there. So now you have bolts that can't be removed. And if this guy's problem is seeing bolts, well, guess what? The bolts are gone. Now, you might be saying, Josh, you can't just have holes in the rock because it fills up with water and then freezes and cracks the rock, or people stick stuff in it or whatever. So My other option is once you make the hole, and if these do indeed work well, if you could figure out how to get these to work, you know, instead of drilling, because in his situation, now that they're all chopped, you you can't weld. Oh, silica dust. You can't weld on top of that one because you can't weld anything. So the only option you have is drill more bolts, and then if it keeps happening, you just keep drilling more bolts. So I'm throwing my hat in the ring, and I'm saying, well, maybe instead of drilling more bolts, we core it out, and then we insert one of these. Now, another funny thing is, after time, after duration of time, if this wears out a little bit, inside the rock, it might make a cavity right here from some friction, which actually might be better, because if this gets wider down here, then the more this opens, so the stronger it gets and the stronger it gets, and then eventually, if it's worn out really a lot, I mean, it would end up, I imagine, turning into like a V, which would be perfect. So, right. So, what I would do is I would invent a thing, a cap of some sort, to stick on top of here to make it waterproof, so water can't get in. Maybe a plug, and it would have to have a special key, maybe like one of those special security Allen keys. Maybe all slackliners could carry around a special Allen key or something. And then you just unscrew that and pull out the plug. So A, you no longer have unsightly bolts. Now let me say this, okay? So I'm like I kind of throw myself in the anti-bolting ring, because I was raised tri-climbing, and I think 90% of the climbs in America could just be top roped, and you don't need unsightly bolts. Now, I'm anti-bolter till I'm like, 80 feet above the last bolt, and then I start getting sewing machine leg, and then all of a sudden I wish there was a bolt. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm glad certain areas are bolted and certain areas are left not bolted. I do think a lot of places could just be top roped. You don't need to have bolts on it, but I think that people bring value to the rock. It's not the rock that brings value to the people. But I do think bolts should be professionally installed, and not just any guy with a drill should be drilling holes into the rock. They got to be professionally installed and professionally maintained. Now, I don't know if this has ever even been thought about, but maybe if we could make almost like bolting trad climbs, if the holes are drilled at a slight angle like this on a vertical cliff, then water would never be able to get in, and junk would kind of stay out of there. You'd probably have the occasional spider you'd squash, but you could probably climb with these and stick these in and then make your ascent like that, and all you'd have are these holes drilled in, and then you wouldn't see bolts. I don't know. Is that cooler? I think it all fall down to like if that's cool or not. If people want to like pseudo trad climb or something like that. Well, that's me throwing my hat in the ring and just my opinions. There's actually another option I thought about. I'll tell you what it is. So I haven't actually tried this yet, but I'm just thinking. If you took a grinder, like a big disc grinder, like a 12-inch grinder, like I use at work, because I have kind of an industrial mindset. If you took a grinding wheel, do I have a disc anywhere? I'm never drawing on a piece of paper again, that's for sure. So let's say you had like a disc, right? A grinding wheel disc, and you sliced straight down through this block, right? You'd have a straight cut, right? Boom. You'd have a straight cut right through here. Zip. Now, if you move that grinding wheel this way and this way, we then have a V channel like that. So that could be another way. I'm just kind of jumping off the top of my head with ideas, but if you were able to slice a V channel into the rock, you could then place gear 2. Now that might fill up with water, freeze, and crack. So I actually don't know what you'd end up doing in that scenario. Make sure you keep water out. We could talk about it in the comments or whatever. So that's about it. I figured I need to bring some attention to this. Maybe talk about bolting a little bit in the comment section or whatever, and we could discuss stuff. So yeah, Josh Perry. Trying to think if I forgot anything. All right, check my Discord, my merch store. I got some new stuff coming up in there. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Josh Perry, climbing out of here.